Hi everybody, welcome back to those who've been following me for some time, and welcome to those who are new. I'm Adele Levine, intuitive and medium. So I'm going to just get in today's subject. I'm pretty excited about doing this subject. I've been wanting to do it for some time. It's kind of why I didn't really ask you guys my usual poll of what do you want me to do. This subject is about working with children, and I wanted to be really careful when approaching this subject because I know that, to me, the importance of children's protection on the spiritual level is extremely important. And so I wanted to be clear and concise and to the point on this subject. So this is for those of you who are interested in how do I spiritually protect my child, or even if you have friends or you're an auntie or an uncle or something and you want to be able to do this or help other people. And my feeling about when we come into this world, when we're born, we're like these wonderful little bright beings that shine so much light and energy, and the point of us being born and all of us who came into this world brand spanking new, before everything the world kind of got to us, we have this reminder of home and the other realm. So it is important that we respect that. You're going to find that I'm not really big into seed children, like star seed children, or the idea of indigo and all this language. You guys know, if you've been following me for some time, you'll know, and if you're new to me, you'll find out I'm not really big on titles. I kind of just see it as an energy that each person, and children are people, yes, they're just little people, have their own thing that they bring into this world. And so if you're someone who is spiritual, or if you guys want to comment below and you want me to do another video on, children who have abilities and stuff, but this isn't necessarily about that. I know people might want to tell me about that type of thing. Sorry, I always feel like there's hair in my face, but there isn't. It isn't really necessarily about that. This is about just like you would do anything else. Like I suggest to people, you should do cleansing and protection for yourself. And just like you teach like how to brush your teeth and how to put on your shoes and all this kind of stuff, I feel like teaching children about energy and how to protect their energy is very important. So these are for simple things. First off, your kid's room or children's room is very important, meaning like you don't want like heavy stuff. Like you don't need to put up, all this stuff you see behind me does not need to exist in a child's room. In a children's room, you want to kind of go with what are they drawn to, especially if you have kids that kind of seem like they see things. And like I said, I'll get into more depth in another video about this, and they experience things and you want to help them through it. You want it light. I always suggest as many little lights as you can. Twinkly lights, fairy lights, a star that lights up, those revolving lights at night, because honestly, light is a symbolism of attracting light. So it's the same reason why we have candles lit, and the things that we do is we are saying we're pushing out a certain light and we're attracting light. First of all, that's on a spiritual level. On just a tangible human level, it's very comforting for them to kind of wake up and see all this like glowing light around them, right? It's not great to wake up with just like dark and a little pitch black with a little light. Now, you may have a child who likes that, and that's completely fine, and I'll give some suggestions. Like I said, everyone's different. But in my experience of people who've come to me on this subject and whatnot, children do tend to feel good when their room kind of has that magical space. So you want to know what your kid's into, or the child that you're trying to help. If it's like they want rainbows, if they're like into fairies, if they're into animals, if they're into nature, then you want to put around their bed things that they feel good about. So not what you think they should have, but what they feel good about. Honestly, if they are into Disney characters, if they're into cars, if you want to put it near their bed so when they wake up they're looking at that. So if they wake up and they had like a night, something that kind of, scared them, or they had a dream, or they feel like they see something when they my cat, my cat thinks this is time to play as usual. Then they can see that. So I always say, like, have it, where their bed is on the wall where they can see. And that's where I would put twinkly lights. And you want things lighthearted. You don't need to get into the heavy stuff. Honestly, energy affects them quite a bit. So if you're putting up, okay, now that's enough. Sorry, guys. I'm moving this stuff. If you're putting up like, I've seen sometimes where people are putting up like heavy duty, like pentagrams and things like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't. If you are fully witchy and that's your thing, I understand. But for kids, it's a kind of a strong vibration. It's kind of a heavy duty energy, and they don't need it as much. It kind of overwhelms them. So if you're doing something, sorry about that, guys. If you're doing something that's a little bit more on the lighter tip, like I said, that they resonate with, actually that creates a vibration. The other thing is, I'm going to suggest, and I did, the last video was on stones, but honestly, kids tend to be drawn to rocks. If your child is drawn to rocks, implement that. And I don't mean it has to be like, like a crystal. It can be just an everyday rock. I have a bunch of rocks on here. If you want to collect them, if you go in through nature, and honestly doing that with them, saying, oh, what's your favorite rock? What do you feel from it? What are you drawn to it? And you say, this is your protection rock, and you ask them where they want to put it. And sometimes they may want to put it by their bed, or sometimes they want to put it on a bookshelf or on the desk or on their windowsill. The other thing is, on windows, it actually is very comforting too. If you hang something on the window, meaning like making sure that the windows are covered, like with curtains and things, because this brings in, I think, as we all know as kids, a logical fear, because it's an opening for children. The idea of things just, coming at them kind of trips them out. And also on a spiritual level, because the spiritual realm, there is thresholds, and that's why when I do a cleansing, I cleanse the window and the doorways. The reason why windows, and a lot of times spirits come through windows, is not because it's like woo woo woo. It's because windows are made out of sand. This is what I was told from that realm. The windows are made out of sand, glass is made out of sand, I should say. And since spirits are just energy, when the energy goes through the window, then they're not making a loud noise. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because children, because they are more connected to that realm, if they do see things, it can happen where they're seeing it through these thresholds. So I do recommend close closet doors, close bathroom doors if there's one where they can see. Actually having those things sealed kind of makes them, until they maybe, tell you that they're okay with it, right? But I do feel like the process of like we're closing everything down helps them sleeping and gives their room a space. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, that's what I was going to show you. So like if you get a crystal, but getting a small crystal or even a smaller one, or some kind of fun shape, like this is an egg, that's an amethyst, and you let them hold it, and so that you teach them, like, put your energy into it. This is your protective wand. And if you show them, like, okay, hold this wand, this is the wand that you can point around your room, and you're creating a circle of protection. And I'm going to get to that other point. Things like dragon stones, or just dragons in general. A lot of children love rainbows. It's this let them go into what we call imagination, but for them, this is a place of magic that they actually feel and see. And so allowing them to go deeper into it and saying, this is your space, and creating it's your space. The other thing I would say is cleansing their room. You want to do it with them. If you can't, do incense, obviously, when you have tiny, tiny children, you may not, I wouldn't suggest burning, smoking it up, incense in their room unless they're like out of the room and they're not home, and you do it and then you open up the windows and air it out and, do all that stuff. But I'm just kind of leery about telling you that's something you have to do. I'm talking more like resin incense, like I've shown on here with the coal. You can use stick incense, which is a little lighter, and you can also get sprays, or you can just burn something like this, which is just lavender, and just burn that because it burns really fast and burns away. But kids love lavender. It's very soothing. But if you're gonna do like a stick incense, don't do it with this torch, and don't have them do it. Parents and friends and family, and you do this for them. This is a short incense stick. You can actually have them hold a long one, but you gotta know your child. So instead of them holding it, obviously if they're a little older, if they're more kind of a tween, or use your discretion, but I would say hold it for them and have them walk around, and you say this, you're showing them this as almost like a magic wand. So you say, this is a place of light. We ask for only of good intention and light. And when you're doing the cleansing, that is when you want to open up the curtains or the blinds, and you want to like have the sun shine in, and you say, we call upon, and whatever they are drawn to, if it's angels, if it's fairies, if it's dragons, if it's other types of things, that if they feel like they see and connected to, your family members, and you say, if you do call in the family members, you say, just grandma, that is it. We only like grandma in our space protecting. But usually with kids, I kind of push more towards the other type of realm, like angels and fairies and things that they tend to believe in, dragons and things like that. And you say, we call in this space we bring in the light around us, and the light to protect. This is a place of protection. This is a place of light. And like I said, you should know your kid. And this is, definitely could burn them. So you would hold it for them. If you have older children, then, and you feel like they can handle this, then go ahead. But I'm really advising you to, maybe not do that at all with small children. So you did not hear from me to do this with small children. Hold it for them. We're talking like 12 and up. I don't know. Use your discretion. Again, I wouldn't recommend anything burning towards a child. So you should, just on the safe side, just hold it for yourself and show them like, this is a place of light and that type of thing, and going around the room. And if you see how I'm doing this, especially for small children, it looks very, very magical. And you're saying, this is a wand, and we're cleansing, and we call in this space, and you can do this to cleanse, okay? And then they feel like they're partaking and they're understanding, and it does almost look like a magic wand, and they can get into it. If you don't want to burn incense, which many of you may not want to, then get sprays with lavender, very light properties that you can just spray around. They even have frankincense and myrrh sprays that are very, very light, just like a water spray. And even if you don't want to do that, then just get like a salt spray. But it's the action, because children don't need as much heavy duty. They don't, not like adults. You're not breaking through years and life trials and tribulations of energies that have piled upon you. You're just kind of cleaning the slate of any stuff that other people tend, for children, it's just kind of the world and, things that they get sensitive to. So they don't need this heavy dutiness. So the other thing I would say is as they go to sleep, I would go over that with them saying, remember, this is a place of light. We're covering yourself in protection and whatever, again, you call in, I use St. Michael because St. Michael's energy is an energy of protecting children. And I always say this, like the sword stands in front of your door. This is what I say to people to say. And it is guarding of your door, and you can even say window, and this is a place of protection. So obviously the other key thing with children, I'm just like holding this. The other key thing with children is to make sure that you're not claiming like, listen, you want to teach them about the world and things like this. Obviously, like always tell, your mom and your dad if anything feels unsafe, and you wake up and you have a bad dream or this and things like that. And protection against people and strangers and things like that, obviously. Okay, so these are kind of my main things I would say. It's just really important, I can stress enough, to keep it very light for them. You just don't want a heaviness around them. They just don't need it. Let them use their imagination. Let them use their imagination, which is really them being able to tap into that realm. And you can go over saying tonight you have dreams of flying, and you don't want to open kids up too much. You don't want to get into like third eye stuff, and you don't want to do too much heavy of that because it does open them up as they go to sleep. And sleep is kind of really the most important time for them to feel that protection, but you can say that to them as well before they leave the house. And again, you just go and stress to them that we're talking, this is a place of energy and protection, but you always communicate and things like that. So, I hope that helps in that arena. And like I said, just be really, really safe if you're going to utilize this type of thing. And sprays work wonderful. They actually respond quite well to it, because they, like I said, don't need the heaviness. And I'm just trying to go over if there was anything else I left out. Animals, actually, and also if you have stuffed animals, if you put a circle around the stuffed animals, put a circle around them. Go around in your kids' room if they're having a hard time. If they have like things that are like too harsh on their walls, like if it's too much, like kids are very sensitive. Even if they like kind of don't seem to be responding negatively to something, they pick up on things a little bit more. If you have like old antique things in their room and mirrors, that's it. I knew there was something else. Don't have mirrors in front of their bed. And if they do have a mirror, cover it up. Just at night, put, a sheet over it. Mirrors are portals. And like I said, what we are trying to do at night is kind of have this idea we're shutting everything down. So if you can't help it and you have like a mirror, like closets, then maybe if you can like put a curtain and make it like something fun, even if you put like streamers or something, but it just has to you want to transform this into more a magical, protective feel. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please leave your comments below, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you guys so much for all the support following me. Follow me also on The Witch in the Medium, my podcast, and you can follow me on Instagram. I am doing a class this Saturday. If you want to sign up, it's Journey to the Other Realm. People have asked. Yes, I will be recording. So if you can't make the time, it's at 9 a.m. PST, December 14th. Then at the end of the class, I am actually just sending a recording to everybody anyway, so you can watch. People have also asked, how would I know if something's going to happen? You remember, this is one class, one time. This is a journey, and obviously this isn't like instantaneous everything. But usually people, in my experience of teaching this quite some time, get something out of this for sure. So thank you so much, and follow yourself, follow no one, and listen to that guided voice inside of you, and see you soon.